Good afternoon, folks. Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilly here with a look at your tropical update for September 13th of 2019, brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters. As always, taking a peek into the tropics this time of the year is going to yield plenty of things to talk about. And don't we ever have things to talk about? How about this? We ran this thing back 24 hours. That little land breeze thunderstorm deal that I was pointing out yesterday on the news, I said, well, that's kind of interesting. Look at this thing blow up with some convection that's now getting kind of pulled into that mid-level area of low pressure that's drifting kind of off to the west-southwest across the Gulf of Mexico. The models we're picking up on, you may remember from earlier this week or even late last week, I was talking about something maybe getting a little bit closer to Mexico or South Texas out into the tropics. And originally I was thinking a lot of the thunderstorm activity down in the Bay of Campeche that you see kind of flare up right there, that all fell apart. I was like, well, you know, as this thing kind of drifts across, it may be able to yank some of that up, and we may see some kind of mid-level-y, low-level-y something, tropical depression, PTC kind of deal. But how about the models picking up on this? That's a pretty small mesoscale event to pick up on if that's what the models were seeing. Man, you know, if there was nothing else, if we were a little earlier in the season, say July, there's nothing else going on, this would be big news. But it's not, because we got plenty of other things going on. We've got actually a PTC already, a potential tropical cyclone number 9. We've got one wave Mia and another wave down there to keep tabs on as we head through the next couple of days. We've got more waves coming off of the coast of Africa as well, one in behind that and another one back in behind that as we head through the next couple of days. Okay, back around home. Let's talk about now, well, I guess, how about this? Tropical depression number 9. Breaking news. It was a PTC when I clicked start and started doing this, but the 4 o'clock update came down a little early. How about this? We now have a tropical depression 240 miles off to the east-southeast of Freeport, Grand Bahama Island. Wind at 30 miles an hour, moving to the northwest again at 8 miles an hour. This thing has been floating between completely stationary, moving about 2 or 3 miles an hour, and somewhere between 6 and 8 miles an hour. Latest center has it right about there as a now tropical depression, and you can start to kind of see the inklings of some convection trying to get wrapped up in here. The thing wasn't stacked as little as 12 to 24 hours ago. The mid-level area of rotation was in a different place than the low-level rotation. That's all that means. They weren't, you know, plopped right on top of each other. And it looks like it's trying to get a little better organized. Maybe the low-level center, which actually ended up moving a little further off to the north, is finally connecting up with that mid-level area of rotation. Notice the cone now completely off. There's the Florida coast right in there, now completely off the coast as it curlicues around and back out to sea. There was some indications in the modeling a little bit earlier. We had 1 or 2 little spaghettis that actually roped it back off to the south. Now most of them do take this thing out to sea and away from everybody else. But that's not all, folks. 20 to 50% chance of development on your first X in here as it spreads out and toward the greater and lesser Antilles, and then a 10 to 40% chance on this next wave back here as that one follows right behind the first one right here. Both of these will have to be watched as we head through the kind of day 5 to 10 range as they get a little bit closer to the United States, depending on how things shake out within the modeling. We'll have to kind of wait and see what that looks like for the Gulf Coast, up the East Coast, etc. All right, so here we go with the spaghetti plots. There's the center right there. So all of the spaghettis that are in here that are pushed off to the kind of west-southwest can all just basically be thrown out. Really, within the spaghettis, you can only probably use 5 to 10 of these bad boys, and all of them are on the northern and northeastern side right in here, wrapping up and around and back out to sea. Yes, we do have some that take it into the Gulf of Mexico. We got 2 of them on here, and I know that it probably radar beams everybody's back of your mind going, uh-oh, but notice where these 2 lines start, well off to the west-southwest of where the center of the storm actually is. That tells us a lot like with everything else in life. You put good stuff in, you get good stuff out. You put bad stuff in, you get bad stuff out. You put bad data in, you end up with a bad forecast. So, and that's a bad forecast. The good forecast where you put the good data in, and there you go. And that's why the National Hurricane Center now has this thing going out to sea and not bothering anybody. Here's the latest from the European. See, it's picking up on this stuff as it moves across the Gulf of Mexico and toward Texas. For folks in Corpus Christi down toward Brownsville, it's got tropical depression number 9 staying out to sea. This is going to be something to watch. This would be more of a rainmaker necessarily than some kind of tropical system, you know, affecting Texas. But, you know, you folks along the Texas coast may be dealing with rain as we head through Monday and Tuesday from this. And then we get to watch our 2 waves back out here as they march their way across the Atlantic as we head through Friday of next week into Saturday and into Sunday as they get a little bit closer and toward the Bahamas here. And then the other one stays out to sea there. In the meantime, into the Gulf of Mexico, we stay dry in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So a lot going on in the tropics. Newly minted tropical depression number 9. Forecast to stay away from Florida now and stay out to sea. We've got that little batch of riffraff that's moving through the Gulf of Mexico, and then the 2 other waves out into the Atlantic. So there's your tropical update for September 13th of 2019, brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters. Consider yourself tropically updated.